Hello, hello, and hello. Welcome back to the Family Fortune. It's me, your girl, Ashana, and sitting out of his usual chair today is...
Malcolm. I hate being in front of the camera, especially this one.
Tell me about it. I'm glad. At least you got my height thing fixed right there, so
Yep.
I don't look like a little
Yep, you're
midget no
welcome.
more.
You're welcome.
So we're back. And if you watched the last couple of episodes, we were talking about a whole bunch of what may seem like fun topics, but fun episodes, but they were really serious topics dealing with mindset. What did we talk about? Underconsumption and overconsumption. Mm-hmm. And then we talked about the
trigger words, the buzzwords.
Those buzzwords that, to make you spend your money. Mm-hmm. And that leads us into this episode where we talk about mindset. Mm-hmm. But we're going to be doing it from a book review kind of perspective.
Yes. What is the book?
The book is called The Psychology of Money by, I'm going to mess up his name, Morgan Housel. Now, this is not a new book. It's been around for a good while. But new editions keep coming out and everything else. When I say this book,
it is
there's
really
so
good.
many nuggets and good stuff.
It is really
book.
good. I think I mentioned this earlier. You don't necessarily get strategies on how to save money or how to invest money, but it's really about changing how you think about money.
How you think about money.
And it was really good. I only got to chapter 11, whichever one is about saving. Save something. I don't know. This is a bad book review. I'm sorry. I forgot the chapter name.
But, it's like 20 chapters altogether. And some of them are super short and some of them are extremely long. So, I think you got to the one, chapter 10, about save money. Mm-hmm. And they all have weird titles, like No One's Crazy,
That one was interesting.
It was Getting Wealthy versus Staying Wealthy. And I think the one that you really liked, chapter 9, Wealth is What You Don't See. Mm-hmm. I think that's the one that really stuck for me too, because truth be told, I'm still digesting. I have like little bookmarks and page numbers and notes and everything else in here. So you're like, how can we give a book review if you didn't finish it? Because it's just that good. That's why.
I'm gonna get into that chapter we just talked about. No One's Crazy, and on the surface, you're like, there are some crazy folks out here, but from his way he was going about it was like, people spend money on how they have experienced it.
Exactly.
And so, all because you don't understand why somebody's buying something or saving something, they are going by their experience. On what we're going to talk about next week is about generational wealth, is about how you planting seeds into somebody else's mind on how to save money. Mm-hmm. And it's usually not something directly that you tell them. It's just the example that they've been around their entire life.
Right. Is what they know. Mm-hmm. And it goes back to studying history. One highlight that I have from that particular chapter, which is chapter 1, it says, studying history makes you feel like you understand something. But until you live through it and personally felt its consequences, you may not understand it enough to change your behavior. Mm-hmm. So trying to look through the lens of look at someone else's life through your lens, you may not never understand why they don't do things like everyone else unless you actually go through it, just like what you said.
It was such a great introduction to this book, and what really kept me going to kind of experience everything else. What was another one before we get into my favorite one?
I have so many notes. Let me see. I didn't write down the quotes. I wrote down the page number so I can go back to it, and then I put stars. So I think that was the first one that I wrote. Yeah. So the next one, big one that stuck out to me was on page 21. I think that was in chapter 2. Oh, no, we're still in chapter 1. See, that's how much is in chapter 1.
Yeah, that chapter 1 is really good.
Where it was talking about 401ks and how everyone thinks it's a they thought it was new when it was first, being pushed and introduced. But it really came about in 1978. Mm-hmm. So the original savings of the 401k didn't came about in 1978, but the Roth one If we have to do another podcast, explain what the difference between a traditional and a Roth. One is pre-tax, one is post-tax. Is bottom line. That didn't come out until 1998. So it kind of goes back into your generation, which is different from my generation. Mm-hmm. We were taught different things, mm-hmm. and we learned different things when it comes to money. In fact, we may not even been taught about money. So how we learn and what money factors affected us growing up are not going to be the same ones that affect you. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of people think, oh, your way is wrong, my way is wrong, you're antiquated. But like you said in the beginning, you have to go back to everyone is not the same. And this is going to tie in well in our next podcast where we talk mm-hmm. about understanding generational wealth, where two different generations, we don't think the same, we don't live the same, we will not live the same. So to try to lump everybody up under the same umbrella when it comes to understanding money, that's where people like to say, oh, you crazy, that's not going to work, you're crazy. Step back a little bit.
When growing up, to me, my understanding of if you had money, you would spend it. So, you're riding around nice, you got a nice house, nice car, nice clothes, nice jewelry. So you are rich. But according to chapter 9, that is not true. And I have a clip.
Well, hold on, okay. Because there's another one.
Okay.
This one, I'm gonna leave it with,
okay,
and it'll tie into that. From chapter 3, it's called Never Enough. Mm-hmm. And it's when rich people do crazy. You know how I'm talking about how rich people, because that's going to lead into your chapter when you understand the difference between wealth and rich, being wealthy and being rich. It was the opening story. And so I'm going to read the story. Yep. It's about party given by a billionaire. Kurt Vonnegut is talking to his pal Joseph Heller. These are authors, mm-hmm. And their host, a hedge fund manager, had made more money in a single day than Heller had earned from his book Catch 22. But then Heller says something, and I promise I'm going to get this on a T-shirt. He says, yes, but I have something he will never have, ... enough. So he's not always chasing that thing or trying to have, build more. He says, I have what I need.
That contentment.
That contentment. And that's what I think a lot of people are missing. Mm-hmm. They're trying to always achieve something that may not ever be achievable when they have not learned yet to be satisfied with what they have so far. So once you reach that satisfaction, what you have, anything else just icing.
To stick, you setting that goal, mm-hmm. and you I think you had mentioned, don't move the goalposts. Like once you're there, once you got what you need, just live with it.
Live with it.
Let me play this clip from chapter 9.
Chapter 9. Chapter 9 is good. And the title of that chapter is called Wealth is What You Don't See. And the subtitle is Spending Money to Show People How Much Money You Have is the Fastest Way to Have Less Money. Drop that bomb. Go ahead.
But the truth is that wealth is what you don't see. Mm-hmm. Wealth is the nice cars not purchased, the diamonds not bought, the watches not worn, the clothes forgone, and the first class upgrade declined. Mm. Wealth is financial assets that haven't yet been converted into the stuff you see. That's not how we think about wealth because you can't contextualize what you don't see.
So that right there summarizes that whole chapter.
It summarizes how everyone should look at it.
Because, if you really think about it, wealth, once you spend it, it's gone.
It's gone.
So you don't have it.
And see, people automatically assume wealth means money. Mm-hmm. It's not. Wealth is tangible, intangible. It's like they said, you can't see it. So if you can't see it, you can't spend it.
It's that freedom to.
The freedom.
It's just general freedom to do what you want, when you want, where you want, with who you want. I think he said that somewhere else in the book as well. Mm-hmm. It's that freedom to do that type of stuff. And going back to contentment, you're not trying to prove anything to anybody.
Yep.
Because growing up, I was saying, if you had money, you had to show you had money.
Oh yeah, you had to have the nice what they call what's the term now? I don't keep up with term fits. You had the nice fits or whatever. Is that the I don't know.
I ain't that
Clothes.
young. I don't know.
You gotta have the nice clothes and new designer stuff. You had the and they still do it to this day.
They still do it to this day, but I think there is a shift because the way, especially millennials right now, because we are all in some sort of shift to where how we're trying to take care of ourselves. There are a lot more homesteads now. People are learning how to farm themselves. They are learning about, investing in finances and becoming more independent to the capitalism that we live in America.
I'm gonna do one better for you. I don't think it's a generational thing, like millennial versus boomers versus X. I think it's an age thing. Honestly, just the age thing. Because most X's, most boomers would tell you once you reach a certain age,
You start caring about certain
you
things.
still
I guess that makes sense.
your mind shifts about what's important, what's more important.
Well, that will go into our next topic, generational. It's setting that older mindset in a younger mind of creating this generational mindset of taking care of what you have while you have it.
While you have it.
Because when the younger you are, the more energy, the more cognitive you are of how to spend your money or how to live your life and just in general instead of partying all the time. Because there's no return on a party unless you do something bad. Then you got something coming your way.
No, let me stop.
We ain't gonna go there.
So one of the definitions he had, and from the same chapter, says you got to be careful to define the difference between wealthy and rich. And it's more than just semantics. Knowing the difference is kind of help you make your decisions. So rich is a current income. Someone driving, I'm using his example. Someone driving a $100,000 car is rich because even if they purchase the car with debt, there's still a certain level of income you have to have in order to maintain the monthly payments, if you understand what I'm saying. Same thing with the houses and everything else. But wealth is hidden. It's the thought and understanding that, yes, I can afford to buy this car, but I don't.
It's that buying power.
It's the buying power. It's the option. It's income not spent. It's an option not yet taken to buy something later. Like, I know I can afford this because I have the money to afford it or I have the assets to afford it. But I choose not to so that my money and my assets can continue to grow. It's the flexibility.
This is going to be a bit off topic. This may be a plug for the Financial Literacy Center. Is there a group here at TAB that talks about finances regularly?
We're trying.
We're trying. Because, all right, so we got the SRP events that we do. Can you describe what those are?
The SRP events is we're providing financial literacy. There's a slew of topics that we're going to introduce. In fact, I believe the next topic is going to be on investments. And Claudette wasn't me. Phone. I'm coming, Claudette. It's going to be on investments, and we haven't put that out yet because we're trying to get the time straight. But to go back to your question is we're going to start introducing monthly topics, financial topics, and we're hoping that you give us what you want to know as well. Otherwise, I'm going to just pick until the audience starts picking. But to educate on those things they need to know, like stuff like this. So it'll tie in a lot with the podcast and everything else that's going on. So we have investment coming up. We have a topic on investment coming up. We're redoing the legacy planning along with SRP is going to bring in like a retirement fair. It's almost like a hands-on interactive where they sit and walk you through the different things that happen for retirement and how to prepare you for retirement, like how much money you should save and everything else. And then a whole bunch of other stuff. But did that answer your question?
That did answer my question because it's all about preparing. It's about getting that mindset together. And I think we're getting there. I think I'm getting there. I didn't spend anything ridiculous.
It is. Well, I don't know. I'm looking at your post sometimes.
That's just me fantasizing.
Okay. Okay.
I haven't bought anything. I am being a wise person. Because I wish I could show this. But every time I do post something, y'all, LaShawna does say something. She sent me a message.
Usually an emoji.
Usually an emoji that's letting me know that she's watching, holding me accountable. And I appreciate that. And she put me onto this book too. So
this
thank
book
you.
is, I'm going to finish it. And if you have not touched on it, I mean, we've only touched the surface
We'll be halfway through it.
Of what's going on in this book. I have so many nuggets. Let's see what's the last nugget that I popped in here before I ran out of space on my little note card. It's still in chapter 9. Oh, that's what I just read. Let's go back then. Let's go back to, last one was chapter 7.
I'm going to cut this out.
Of course you are. Because I'm sitting here looking like, so unprepared. I have nothing.
Let me find something.
So freedom. Chapter 7 is all about freedom. The title of that chapter is called Controlling Your Time. With the highest dividend money pays. So cut this part out too. Claudette's sitting lunch at KFC. You want some?
KFC?
I know. I don't even eat meat. Don't she know that?
I don't want no KFC.
I don't eat that. I'm good.
I'll survive.
I'm good.
That is so random. I have never heard somebody want KFC.
I know.
I'm cutting that out for real. KFC, we love y'all. Y'all want to sponsor us? Finger looking good.
So chapter 7 is all about freedom, controlling your time. It's the highest dividend money pays. And so the one thing is a poem in here by what's the Rockefeller? J.D. Rockefeller used to sit in meetings. He'd be in meetings quiet. And they'd be like, why are you so quiet? You know, he's the money guy. You know who J.D. Rockefeller is. Like one of the founders of everything money. But he would never talk in the meetings. He let everybody else talk and have everything to say. But people, want to hear from him. I don't know if you're old enough to remember this commercial, like when E.F. Hutton speaks, and then they have everybody in the background doing like this.
No, I don't know that one.
Y'all know what I'm talking about. But it was about a financial guru who everybody wanted to hear his word, kind of like Warren Buffett. So I use Warren Buffett. When Warren Buffett speaks, everybody listens, and then they'll have people in the background leaning to listen. So they wanted to hear what Rockefeller said, but he would often reply with this poem. A wise old owl lived in an oak. The more he saw, the less he spoke. The less he spoke, the more he heard. Why aren't we all like that wise old bird?
Moment of silence.
I know, right? It's like you don't always have to say something.
No.
Sometimes you just need to listen and gather the wisdom from those around you and learn. Your voice ain't always got to be the one that's hard. I'm going to have to put that on the board.
Oh, yeah, we do got some space right here.
We're going to put that on the board. Then just listen and listen to what others have to say. This the young folk today ain't going to put them in. The young people today think they know everything.
They do.
And I'm pretty sure the older generation said that about us. Y'all think y'all know everything. Y'all don't know nothing. Don't know nothing.
Get off my lawn.
But it's okay to sit and listen.
Right.
One thing we did know was if you're in a room full of adults, you're not talking.
No.
So you sitting there listening and hoping you don't get caught because you ain't supposed to be in there in the first place and gathering all that wisdom. So next time you're in a room full of people who have wisdom, don't try to be louder to them.
Right.
Just sit and gather that knowledge.
Take it in, because a lot of, especially in the financial, I'm not going to say the world, but like in finances just in general, I don't know everything. And I'm trying to figure this thing out as I go, because I am subject to temptation to spend money the way I shouldn't be spending. But then if I'm holding on to my money, what am I doing with it? Because just holding on to it isn't necessarily helping anything. It's just collecting and not necessarily building or working on itself. So this podcast, stuff people like Cliff McGee, the SRP things, the financial literacy center that we have here provides that information, provides that knowledge, and then I'm that owl on the oak. Who?
So
What else we got?
I think I'm almost tapped out with this one because we can be here all day with this book. And we want you to read it and learn from yourself. Do y'all want to start a book club?
Oh, yes.
Let me know.
Please.
We can start an investment book club because this is just one of the. There's so many that I've read that have given me so much knowledge. And then there's some that's garbage. I'm not going to lie. But this would be one of the ones of a keeper. And everyone needs to have on their bookshelf. And to break it out every once in a while
Yep, I
and
was just about
dust
to
it
say
off.
that.
And continue to read it. Again, it's called The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. You're listening to it. I tried to listen to it. He was like putting me to sleep though, because it's his voice. But listen to it, read it, take notes, and then let's discuss. We'll revisit the whole, because he also got a list of books in the back too that I may have to just check out.
Let's start a small group book club for finances.
We can do that. I'll talk with the powers that be.
Hold us accountable, Dal.
Until the next time where we start talking about how this and the previous podcast and everything else tie into generational wealth. This is me, your girl, Ashana.
And Malcolm.
And this is The Family Fortune. Peace.